Hi, my name is James Gordon Graham, and welcome to CEO2CEO TV. This is a brand new concept. It's about CEOs being interviewed, about them sharing their advice and their experience and their knowledge over many years of operation. So whether you're a startup and you're trying to get funding and you're trying to understand how to get off the ground, right through to an established branded company, the seasoned professionals will actually show you how they run their companies and how they actually go for funding and how they grow the company on a worldwide basis.
On this week's show, our CEO interview is with Simon Woodruff, who shares how he went from an unemployable 40-year-old to starting the multi-million international brand Yo. On Startup to Stock Market, we look into new methods to raise anything from a few million to many billions, whether you're a startup or a mature company. On a controversial point to understand, how do the top 0.001%, who own the vast majority of the world's wealth, use multidimensional knowledge? And finally, everyone hits failures. It's how you get through them that makes a difference. We show you how to turn a failure into a positive.
So on this week's show, we've got an amazing interview with Simon Woodruff, who's one of the original Dragon's Dens, the Shark Tank equivalent in the States. He started a company up when he was about 40 from nothing. How did he do that? How did he get funding? How did he move it through to selling it out eventually a few years later to a venture capitalist? Also on the program, we're going to look at how you actually raise funds if you're a startup or whether you're an established company. Is it possible to do an IPO? It's an initial public offering. It's when you put shares out and the public buy them and you list on the stock markets. How do you do that? Is it possible for a small company to do that? Is it just the big boys who can do that? We'll investigate the many different routes you can take to get funding. So this is a little bit about me, my own background, in case you haven't actually met me before.
James has a background in industrial design and engineering, gaining a Masters of Science degree in information technology from Warwick University. And in the 1980s was involved in the early days of computer-aided design software. In the 90s he started his own company, BSoftB, which restructured the early internet using artificial intelligence software. His company was highly acclaimed, and James was awarded Entrepreneur of the Year with Ernst & Young in the year 2000. As CEO, James took his company from startup to an IPO listing on the stock markets. And after selling the company in 2001, future projects include helping CEOs with the IPO listing process and suggesting future alternatives to the monetary system.
Okay, well, many thanks for that, Manjir. As you can see, that just highlighted some of the prominent points in my career. But what I really want to do in this series of programs is to show you some of the things that go wrong, some of the things you have to overcome, some of the failures. Because from failure, you can really learn. So it's not all about the successes and the highlights and the gongs and the goblets and whatever people give you for doing a really good job. It's also about understanding when it goes wrong, what to do.
Okay, it's time for our first interview.
This week we're going to be talking to Simon Woodruff. You may have recognized the name and seen him on mainstream TV with the Dragon's Den. It's the equivalent of the American Shark Tank. And Simon started up Yo Sushi. Here's a little bit about his background.
What do you do when you've got some street credibility? Designed and staged concerts for artists including the Moody Blues, Madness, Rod Stewart, Stevie Wonder and George Michael. Been a TV executive. I've got to the age of 40 but nearly run out of money and are virtually unemployable with a family to support. Well, Simon describes how he had to step out of his comfort zone and get creative. And he did this in spades when he started a popular Japanese sushi restaurant which features novel conveyor belts, call buttons, robotic drinks trolleys, Japanese TV, and other novelties. After selling Yo Sushi, Simon cleverly kept a 1% royalty on all sales revenues, and has now started a string of other Yo businesses. If you ever get the chance, I can really recommend getting Simon to do an inspirational talk for your company. I caught up with him in Manchester, giving some really inspirational advice to some students who are about to embark on their business careers.
I had this image. I had this very strong image when I was starting out, which is the comfort zone thing. And the comfort zone thing is an interesting thing, because if being in a comfort zone, which is when, like, you can survive, things are okay, it's not that great, you sort of think you could be doing better, but you're okay. There wouldn't be a word for comfort zone if it was that comfortable for those of us who want to step out of it. And my image was, you stand on a beach and you draw a circle around yourself in the sand, and you're inside a comfort zone. And when you step outside that comfort zone, what do you feel? As human beings, you feel scared. When you're out of your depth, you feel scared. And we're all trained and brought up, but when you have an uncomfortable emotion in your body, but you try and get rid of it as quickly as possible, so you step back inside your comfort zone. But what people who are successful do is they...
So to get the final part of this interview with Simon, please tick the box below and I will send you the link immediately. And in addition, you'll get the whole of the CEO2CEO online TV show. So tick the box below and it'll be sent immediately. Many thanks.